every time I pray or try to go to Mass, I really struggle with fear and anxiety, and I feel like the emotion of fear is very strong, so much so that it's like painful, even the thought of it, and I haven't even been going to Mass because of this. Not because I don't want to, because the fear
Yes.
will essentially repress my other emotions, and it will be just a very painful thing. So I just wonder, are there ways of praying maybe, or like getting back into it that are like more gentle maybe, or that don't activate that fear so much? Because I'm just really struggling with that in my life, and trying to like let go of that and be more kind of spontaneous as opposed to just being afraid all the time.
Okay, yes. Now, can I ask you some questions real quickly that'll help me give you a better answer?
Yeah.
So tell me, do you have any past experiences or memories or associations, negative associations with being in church or praying? For example, were you any really negative associations with authority figures in the church? Or were you maybe punished a lot for not behaving well in church or things like that? Anything you can think of like that?
No, basically I struggle with scrupulosity and OCD, and I think that anxiety in my life generally and this fear has really wreaked havoc in my life, and that fear is everything seems so weighty when I go to church. You know, there's death judgments, and so I get all these more or less obsessive and fearful thoughts, and it's like I can't separate the fear from the practice of my faith.
Yes. Okay, good. I understand now. I understand what you're going through. So let me say a couple words of advice for someone who suffers from scrupulosity, okay? There are two fundamental dispositions that the scrupulous person has, and you really have to really reject these two dispositions. The first disposition is a scrupulous person thinks that it's more important to avoid evil than to do good. The second disposition is that the scrupulous person wants mathematical certitude about his salvation. Okay, these are the two things that characterize scrupulosity as a whole. Okay, so for whatever reason, it has been impressed upon you that God is a severe judge who's looking out for your least misstep. The smallest thing you do wrong, God is waiting to punish you for it. So when you think about the faith, you think of it as a kind of a shield. The practice of faith is just a shield to protect you against God. If I do A, B, and C, then God won't punish me. And when you think of salvation, you think of it as a relief, not as a joy. Those are all typical to someone who suffers from scrupulous thoughts and feelings. The truth of the matter is the opposite. The truth is God is looking for your least good intention and your least good action, okay? And he rushes to assist you and help you, okay? So God is on your side, and he's trying his best to help you. He's the most loving Father who every time you do even the slightest good thing, he runs to help and he assists you, and he's so happy with you. He's like a father who sees his baby smile for the first time, and even though it's objectively very small, it fills him with delight, okay? That's how you have to see your relationship to your Father in heaven. Don't look at God as someone who is to be feared, but rather someone who is to be loved and who's on your side, okay? So that's really important. Now, the second thing is, if you suffer from, obsessive compulsive disorder, then that's partly medical. And I really recommend that you go see a good psychologist or psychiatrist, and there are medications that can help with that. I've treated, not treated, but given spiritual direction to a number of people who suffer from OCD. All of them have reported that when they get a right, set of medication, that has helped them immensely with anxiety and fears that they're going through. So I recommend that as well. But again, that's to go see someone who's a professional in that area, and that's not spiritual direction, that's medicine on that side. So those are some things I would say. There are some beautiful spiritual readings you can read, like Therese of Lisieux, The Diary of also Stina. And then also I can recommend a beautiful retreat called I Believe in Love. So start with those things, start reading about God's love for you. And from there, maybe you'll be able to get to the point where you realize that going to church is not a matter of, being judged, but a matter of starting a relationship of love again, okay?
And Father, just so you cut out for just a second, so it was Diary of a Soul by St. Therese of Lisieux.
Yeah, Story of a Soul. Story of the Soul.
Yeah.
Saint Teresa of Lisieux. Then Diary of Saint Faustina.
Oh yeah, I don't know why.
And then also the I Believe in Love, a set of retreat conferences about Saint Teresa of Lisieux's writing.